Listen, all right? It's game week. I don't think you ready. You ain't ready. You need to get ready right now. It's game mode, baby. We in it. We in it. How many days we got? We got 4 days until game week. It's San Jose though, so we ain't tripping on that. But what's going on? It is game week, y'all. What's going on, y'all? If you tuning in for the first time, I thank you so much. Go ahead and do all the YouTubers say. I'm not gonna say it, but college football fans, we are back this week. USC fans, my favorite team, my favorite sport. It's on this week. It's going down. But since I've been away, we're gonna talk about what's been going on with USC and what's going on with this interview. Lincoln Riley did an interview with some of these USC personnel people. I don't know who they are really, but we'll get into it. But what's been going on with USC since I've been away? The Bloom Center has been built for USC, and I haven't seen what it looks like yet, just to throw that out there. But been seeing some discourse online about the cafeteria not being inside the Bloom Center, which is like that's kind of touchy. I think it should be in the Bloom Center, and some people were just talking online. I don't think it really matters to me, but they were saying how the football players should have their own cafeteria and not be mixed in with other athletics. It doesn't really matter to me, but football roster is way bigger than any other sport. So, but yeah, they were just talking online pretty much. But put a pain in my heart, man, over fall practices. I don't really cover fall practices me personally because I'm not a coach. So I can't, like what's the point of me saying like, oh, this guy's a starter or whatnot. I don't know. That's we already named our starting quarterback. The other positions, receiver, we're gonna be really young at receiver. So number two wide receiver, number three doesn't really matter to me. Like when I see on the screen, that's when I'll make my judgment of what you made your judgment of fall camp on. So fall camp, it happened. We got some injuries. Killian O'Connor and Jakeem Stewart. Killian O'Connor was a former walk on, which, shout out Keem Miller, and those stories out there. But over the 16 games, I think this is his junior year coming in. And, he's had 16 games under his belt and he's only played eight of those games, so that's not really good. He's injured. I would say he's pretty much injury prone because some of those games that we could have used him in those Oregon games late in the season that we had last year, but it doesn't turn out. And then Jakeem Stewart, man, he goes down. Well, it was a little foot injury, so we'll lose him for 2 games. But when that happened, I think I'm a Seahawks fan. Just throw that out there. Shout out Pete Carroll. Tradition, got to keep going. But Legion of Boom, all that. That was my childhood. But Bud Clark went down with an injury during the Seahawks game, and that just like the injuries, man. It puts a pain on your heart when you see him. I don't know. It just hurt me when I saw that Bud Clark injury. I don't know if y'all had a player like that out there that just kind of hurt your heart. Like, dang, you felt it too. Like you were a part of the team when you saw that injury. So if you have an injury or if you have a story like that or some that hurt your heart, a player that went down, you know, throw it in the chat. But also the freshman, what's his name? Trent Mosley. They're saying he could be the number two wide receiver. He's looking good, really good out of camp. And Booby Feaster, I was thinking he could be the number two wide receiver because he was throwing some things online, some Instagram, throwing pictures of the Bolitnikoff and saying like throwing his name out there and like wide receiver, top wide receivers in the country conversations, and like he was saying y'all leaving my name out. So if Trent Mosey is going to be that number two, maybe Booby Feaster is going to be that slot. And we're really young, this year, and I've seen a lot of USC fans online talking about the depth that we have. I think we should hit the port a little harder this year because we did lose a lot from our roster coming back from last year. So we'll see how our freshmen do this year because that's pretty much our depth is really young, but they're talented, but they're not experienced. So we'll see how they do. And then our offensive line, we'll see how what's his name? Tobias Raymond just got named the starting center for USC today. So we'll see how it all goes, y'all. But Jakeem, he'll be back for the Oregon game. USC fans, hey, that's that. Hey, it gets real. Lincoln Riley, week 4. Okay, all this Fresno, San Jose, Louisiana, Cajuns. Okay, we can chirp it up. We can talk about those games, but I'm just saying. But we're gonna get into this interview, y'all. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. I am like, ooh. Let's go. Let's go, Lincoln Riley. What you got to say for me today? What's going on with y'all?
At USC, and it started in a new facility. How was camp? How does having the new facility affect camp? How did it change things for you guys?
It's great. It's great. And good to see everybody.
Yeah, great,
good,
great to have you.
Fired up to be back. No, the new facility combined with training camp. I mean, it's been awesome. I mean, it's honestly difficult to describe how much it changes what.
Before he starts, I'm gonna make a video probably about this, but I've been seeing some of what's been going on. Like, I don't want to say it's performative, but like the Compton thing, okay, like that was cool. That was cool. You know, I rock with it, but it's like, do you got it? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
We do on a daily basis. I mean, the life for our staff, the life for our players, from how we meet, how we, the recovery is obviously, maybe the single biggest advantage that this has, versus what we were in before. Just the efficiency of the operation, and that's kind of the battle in college football right now, right? It's like how efficient can you be with your team's time and your staff's time, really, too, because it's so limited. You're trying to get a lot done in a really short amount of time, and then it compounds throughout the season. So the more efficient you are, you feel the effects of it early. We're feeling it now, but what's going to happen is like we're going to feel it more and more as the season goes on, and then we're going to feel it more and more as these years go on, and that's where the value of having Bloom. This was something that we knew right away coming here, like this needed to happen in some form or fashion. Unfortunately, give a ton of credit to everybody at USC, following through and not just getting it done and checking the box, but building the best facility in the country, which is what they've done. And I know we were just talking off air. I mean, this place is
Place is freaking sick, huh, Riley? Man, it's freaking rad, dude.
fabulous. I mean, it blows your mind. Anybody that goes in there for the
I'm
first
playing.
time, I mean, it's incredible, and it's
Hey, come invite your boy Riley. Hey, I could use an invite though. I know, I said some stuff in the past, but hey, you got something to prove. That's all I'm saying. That's all. The past is a pass. But if you want to invite me, you know, I'm out there. I'm out.
we're learning more and more of how to use it and how to be better in it each day. But yeah, I mean, it's a landmark event for this program, no question about it.
Yeah, it's kind of sort of hard to describe, right? When someone asks me about it, I'm like, I can't really put it into words as a former player what it can do for you as a player to do. I can't tell you, like, you'd have to like experience it as a player, as a coach, to like really uh, obviously beautiful place, but more than that, it's the things you can get out.
It is freaking sick. And USC, you need to make more apparel, like more throwback, more just more apparel of USC because I see this. There's this white hoodie I want. It's like a USC Trojan thing, but it's like the only one like it. Like I think it's a sweatshirt or something. It's a throw. It looks throwbackish a lot, like Kentucky. You know what I'm saying? Tennessee. They got a lot of apparel. I don't. It's Nike. See, I've been telling y'all we need to switch from Nike because they be giving Oregon everything, and us they be diminishing us a little bit. So I don't care. Switch to Adidas. Switch to Under Armour. Don't matter to me if they're giving more to Oregon. You need to cut that. Cut ties right now.
Of it, right? Pull out of it as a player, as a coach, those things that you can kind of that are tangible, right? Coach, this is you've done a ton of football camps here, and I'm sure you've been through a ton of them. What is there anything special about this other than the facility? Anything special this year about this camp, about this team that kind of stood out to you?
Yeah, I would say you know, each year here, the depth, especially on the lines of scrimmage, has gotten just better and better each year. I thought last year was our best overall year on both sides that way, but this is set up to be a
Hold
different.
on. What?
Our the lines of scrimmage, each year here, the depth, especially on the lines of scrimmage, has gotten just better and better each year. I thought last year was
Yeah, we had one dude leave for Alabama, but I wasn't really worried about him. You can the dude that left for Alabama, y'all, you can tell me this or not. Did he pop off more on tape than Jakeem Stewart? I feel like Jakeem was popping way more off on tape than the dude who left off for Alabama, but y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. But Alabama's real high on that guy right now. I'm high on my boy Jakeem Stewart, okay? That's all I care about. And Big Zero. You know what I'm saying? We rocking. You gonna leave? Bye. Okay, we got Gary Patterson there. You gonna make us better. So I'm rocking,
our best overall year on
baby.
both sides that way, but this is set up to be a different level there right now, which is pretty exciting. And I think the amount of talent, the amount of depth, the amount of position battles, the just the amount of reps we're able to get with this many guys out there on the field and this many quality players that you really want to develop and that you envision these guys, whether it's beginning of this season, whether it's into this season, whether it's in the future, like having big roles.
But the thing is, Lincoln Riley, I talked about this before too. Number 44, y'all seen my videos. I talked about him a lot. A lot of our players, he was undersized, so you gotta really, talk put actions into your words because number 44 he was a little scrawny and a lot of people were making jokes about 44. I didn't like that, he was a oos. Can't do that. So hopefully we are developing Deshaun Riddell. My goodness, he's already, our freshman class is looking like juniors right now. So I'm really development might be through the roof or their high school development. They're already, developing these boys at IMG and DeSoto and those prominent high schools. But one thing I just want to get off my chest. There was some football games this weekend I saw. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it was just St. John Bosco and Bishop Gorman. That game was really good. It was so good. But Bishop, I think it was St. John Bosco. They were down by 21, almost came back. I think the ending score was about 35-28. Really good game. But those quarterbacks from those prominent high schools like St. John Bosco, Mater Dei, I was looking at the quarterbacks because the skill position players and D linemen and offensive linemen, they go to prominent D1 uh colleges, and the quarterbacks you never hear where they go to, and it's always like a Ivy League or smaller. I think one guy went to Washington, but he's a backup right now, and then you have Caden Hauser. He went to I know he was at East Carolina last year, and I think he's going to Illinois this year. So, but they're not big schools. You would be thinking those quarterbacks would be going to like a Kentucky, maybe Tennessee. I don't know where Nico went to Poly, I think, but schools like Tennessee, Alabama, like Bryce Young, you went to Alabama, but that was like years ago. So Lincoln Riley's pulling kids out from Texas, 3-star quarterback. Wanted to focus on cornerbacks, but he's still focused on quarterback. Anyways, let's get
On a
back to this.
football team. Like it's pretty cool to see, and so that certainly changes like how you operate camp and the number of competitive reps you're able to get, and the quality of reps that maybe when the ones go off the field that you don't feel that much of a dip, and even now when the twos go off the field, like there's maybe there's a dip in experience, but there's not much of a dip in talent, and like that's what you want it to feel like.
You can
And
start pushing a little more.
But they're young. These brothers is young. Colage is young. What was it? Toa Toa, is that his name? He young. Here we got a lot of youngins. All right. But you should about some OGs, some juniors. But we'll see how it goes, Lincoln. I trust you.
Right, that gives you the ability to kind of, hey, all right, we can go a little harder.
100%, and it creates competition at these levels. It's
Hmm.
if you're not playing at a high
No.
level, you're going to get removed down. And even the guys that are taking reps as a 2 or 3, you're taking them against other really good players. So it's like it's that whole iron sharpens iron, right? And that's real in football. And the more of that you have, yeah, it's great on game day, but actually the preparation leading up to it, like it's just as important for that.
Now that you've made it through a spring and fall camp with the majority of the roster here, what was that like having that team chemistry from the start?
Yeah, we were, I would say, further along in several areas with this team in training camp
Right.
compared to the previous years. Further along schematically, I think because of all that time and there's just less new guys. And then as
Why is it always like the previous years? Like, oh, previous years we feel this, we feel that. No, like, why couldn't you get that like base one, base two, and base three? Like, what? Like, build every year. Why is this? I hear John Summerall speak, Lincoln Riley, and he's putting you ass to shame. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. He wants to win now. He coming into Florida saying, I expect to win every game, and that's how you should be. It's not like, oh, we're building this. No. I want to win every game. I don't want to build and no. We're at Florida. We're at USC. We don't do this. We don't do this. Wait for this and buy my house for me, USC, and players can come to my house and yeah. I love you. I don't. You got some proving to do. You know.
As you said, the
Let's leave
team
it at that.
chemistry point, which when you bring in as many new players as we've had between the transfers and the big high school class that we signed, that's obviously going to be important. I know that's been a big topic over the last few years in college football is how do you create chemistry with all these new people and having those guys, having over 90% of our roster here,
We're creating chemistry in California. Wow. When you have all the money in the world, how do you do it? I don't know. God damn. Like, it's not hard. Urban would have a culture. I know that, but we don't gotta get into that. But we're in California, y'all. The beach, his house, $9.8 million house, and then what? In and out. You have so much stuff to do. You can go to Big Bear, Idlewild. Like, do I need to say Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm, Six Flags? Mm, Bond though. It's so hard for us to bond and create culture, but whatever.
entire calendar year and not
Am I
just
being too harsh?
getting some of them in spring and
Being a
some of
little
them in
rude?
summer is
I'm being
huge
mean.
because those bonds have already started to form. We were able to lay out in the very beginning what we felt like was really important for the team in terms of this team's identity, what we're going to emphasize, and then that's got time to really take hold with the entire team. And so, yeah, I think we were
Hopefully, it's running the ball, playing physical football because those other teams. I know we don't got Notre Dame on the schedule, but we need to play physical football out here.
we were much further ahead in so many ways. It felt like you're like at the beginning of camp, and you almost felt like you were like mid camp, even getting closer to the season, like in the beginning in so many ways, which was cool.
You're listening to the head coach Lincoln Riley on Trojans Live. Coach, I was looking at the receiver position, and last year you had almost an NFL setup with three guys, 34 catches or more. You had a sort of a clear number one in Mackay, clear number two in Jacoby, and then Tanuk as the number three. 2 years ago, it was basically six guys that were 26 catches to 65 catches kind of range. Looking at this group, do you get a sense right now? Is it more like last year where you expect some separation, or more like 2 years ago where you expect a group to attack it? What's your sense on that room right now?
That's a good question. I think it could go. I think it could go a little bit of both ways. Honestly, I think we'll have more clear separation than maybe we did a few years ago. Honestly, leaving that, we felt like at that point not that we played too many guys, but that we played.
That year, I just gotta that year Caleb Williams won Heisman. My lord, just throwing it to whoever was out there. Brandon Rice, Addison. We had Mike Williams, I think, was out there. Some other player, like just slinging that thing out
Too many
there.
guys 50-50.
Yeah.
We had a good room and we had some position battles that were close. And sometimes as a coach, you wanted to say, all right, well, it's a close battle. Let's play them 50-50 in the game. And sometimes that's great. It builds depth and all of that. But also it can hurt your rhythm at times. And that was some self-evaluation for us last year as even battles that we felt like were close. We were going to try to play starters like starters and play backups like backups, even if – a guy won a battle, 51-49, right? We're still going to play them like starters and backups. And I think that served us well. So we'll still try to get to that, but we've obviously got some guys that we got to figure out,
Yeah.
Got
where
on
those
Mark
are.
Bowman.
And
Got to figure out
obviously a
where you
lot of
gonna
new
put Mark
names, new
Bowman.
faces in there. My expectations for that room are
And I'm hoping Mark Bowman has a career like my dude Brock Bowers did. Couple championships, best tight end in the nation. It's gonna be like that for Mark Bowman for sure. Couple championships in his resume. That's
no
facts.
different than our expectations last year. Expect us to be extremely productive and think we got the guys to do it. But we got some guys that got to go prove it, and they're going to get their chance here quickly.
Coach, offensive line wise, a
Hell
big
yeah.
loss in Killian O'Connor, obviously, and you talk about depth already, and you're kind of using that already. What have you seen from that group? Is that something that's going to kind of be settled going into week one, or is this kind of we're going to see guys how they fit as this kind of thing goes on?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to start Tobias at center. I think it worked out well for us that Killian wasn't available, in spring, so Tobias took a ton of reps this spring, as did several other players, and we've still got.
Man, dude, Killian, that sucks. He was coming back like he didn't even play all spring and got hurt and fall. Oh my gosh, Killian, dude, that sucks. Prayers up for Killian, man. Hopefully he has a speedy recovery, bro.
Got
That's
four
terrible.
centers on the roster that can play, which I mean, I've never had five, and
Yeah.
even losing Killian, like we've got four. And so, whether it's Kalon,
Because he got
or
hurt in
whether it's
the
Willie Washer,
last end of the season.
some of these guys have really, Caden
Terrible.
Smith, a young guy we really, really like. Like, we're still fine at that position, and we do have the depth to withstand it. And I think the biggest thing with Killian.
But depth is very young, Lincoln. So I think we have the talent. So hopefully, I don't know his name. I think it's a Oos, very big Oos. But we have Page out there. Page, hopefully he doesn't get hurt this year. But we have some backups. So Koleje is there. The Oos brothers there. So we'll see what happens with our
Is
line.
just losing kind of that leader and that general, right? But we've got some other guys that are like that. I mean, Tobias, thank goodness, not only is he a good player, but he's played a lot for us
Yep.
and is really emerging as a strong leader. And we got a really veteran group, and then we do have some young guys that are really pushing. And so, yeah, the depth there in terms of not just the starting five, but then who are 6, 7, and 8. You know, who's the second O line, who makes the travel squad. Like there's some tough decisions that are upcoming, but that's what you want it to feel like.
Travel squad? I didn't even know. I thought all 90 players just go. You telling what is it, like 53 players travel? Like, whoa. I didn't know that.
It all gets started on Saturday.
I didn't know there
USC
was like
San
practice
Jose State,
squad.
noon kick at the Coliseum. Will go on at 10 a.m. The Saturday season opener against San Jose State is the sustainability game presented by Coca-Cola and United Rentals. One more segment to come with the head coach Trojans Live, with the head coach Lincoln Riley. This is Trojans Live from Learfield. Jordan Moore, Sean Cody Keeley, you're the head coach Lincoln Riley. Thanks for joining us for another segment as we get set for USC San Jose State
Yes,
on
yes.
Saturday. Looking at the defensive side of the ball, you mentioned a little bit of the defensive line, and that's what stood out to me too. Is just both the offensive and defensive line, the
100%,
depth, the
100%.
size that's changed. Right now, is that the unit that you feel like is the identity of your defense? Is there another group that's really stood out from a position group standpoint in fall camp? Or
Nope, because all our corners are, and we do have one 6'3" corner, but most of them are like 6 foot or whatever. So we're not big at those positions, but linebacker we need to improve there too. So it's just um we have experience at linebacker, but it's just those players haven't like the experience they have. It hasn't been really good. Jane Walker and some of those boys in there. So hopefully they can, with Gary Patterson and Mike Eckler, the new linebacker coach, and we still kept Rob Ryan. He's still on the staff. So hopefully those boys can get right this year. And Lincoln, if he doesn't care any, like, he needs to put a little bit of care into his defense because you even know, like, Sark probably cares about his defense a little bit. He likes his secondary. So, Lincoln, find a place somewhere in the defense that you care about. But we'll see his answer, what he says right here.
you're like, that group's going to lead us. What do you see on that side of the ball?
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly the depth talent on the defensive line. I mean, that's you know probably the headliner in some ways. But I tell you the group that I was maybe just as impressed or more impressed with any during camp was our linebacking core. And I felt
Exactly.
like leaving the season last year, I felt like that was a group that like we really needed to take a step up. In terms of especially the physicality at the point of attack.
There are bad thoughts in my head right now. I wish you would just lied to me a little bit and said the secondary. Just lied to me a little bit, Lincoln. Lied to me and said the secondary impressed you. Because week 4, they got some brothers over there, okay? I'm not saying I'm scared of those brothers. Those brothers are fast. And then coming up in October, we get a little spooky with Legend Bay and that 6'5" motherfucker, okay? So I'm just saying.
How we address blocks, how we close
Lincoln.
space. We've had some pretty good athletic guys that have been able to make, some plays in coverage and plays in space. And obviously in this day and age, that's still really important. But, so much, especially in this league, is it's like inside drill, and you've got to be able to go take on big offensive linemen in close space. I mean, that's really the game is defensively, how much space can you close, and offensively, how much space can you create, right? And obviously, people think about defensive line, and obviously they have a huge hand in that as well. But yeah, our line.
I mean, maybe Lincoln, but thought it was like stopping the offense from scoring, which you have a problem with. So I'll focus on that.
Backers I thought really
Just
stepped up,
saying.
through spring and through camp. I mean, I think we have some high end players there. I think some of the guys that have played for us in the past, I think Desmond Stevens has made one of the biggest jumps as a player. I mean,
Hold on real quick. I just noticed this. I thought Monster Energy was a Big 12 company. So how much they giving us? We might be getting more than the whole conference, low key. I'll put that out there. Monster might be giving us 20. How much is the whole conference getting? Like 12 for 12, like 12 million for 12 teams? It's crazy. But I don't like Monster. Do you see, y'all saw that logo that they did on the jerseys? That was pure ugliness. My goodness. But some dude online redid it and looked fire. Hopefully they did go with the dude online. So, but
he has been really, really good. Just really throughout this entire time, I think he's really taken to Coach Patterson's scheme, and I think just like that, going through that year last year and playing, and he had some great moments, he had some tough moments. Like it feels like he's kind of really ready to come into his own as a player. Jaden Walker continues to grow, and he is maybe the most talented guy that we have in the room. I really have liked what we've seen out of Devin Bryant, the transfer. He's maybe our
oh, I remember
steadiest
him.
guy there.
Okay,
Always in the right place, very physical,
that's
always in a
good.
great frame of mind. Like I've
That's
been
good.
really pleased with him.
See, we went after him. I was hoping we can go after Rasheem Biles because I'm hearing some great things from him in camp too. And this is another point to when I said I don't really watch fall camp. Fall camp, all the reports, everybody look good. I need to see it week one or when you have your first ranked opponent. You know what I'm saying? Everybody look good in camp, so you got to take it with a grain of salt, kind of when you hear those reports because some people, oh, this 5-star looks real good, and then week one comes around, and then Keelan Russell throws 4 picks, and then Alabama ends up 8-4. But I'm not saying that, you know. Mm, I did say it.
And
Okay,
then
Alabama's going
Tavia
8-4,
Robinson's done some
but
really nice
you
things.
heard it here first.
And then we've really liked
And
Talanoa
Ohio
Hawley,
State,
a
but
great freshman that has come in and taken to it as well. So that position was a little bit of a question mark coming in for me in terms of like depth and like what's that going to look like. And I feel like a lot of the guys have just surged, and what I felt like was a question mark now I expect to be a strength for us defensively.
You mentioned Coach Patterson, the new hire. You brought him in. Just a depth of experience in the game. What's it like having him in camp? And
I heard Lincoln talk about Patterson. I don't like how they have like that form of history. Like he a little too buddy buddy with them. You know, Texas, they fired their guy, and a lot of USC fans wanted that fired DC for some reason, just fired, and they're screaming for this guy. But Will Muschamp and Sark, I don't know what their relationship is, but Sark was losing to Will Muschamp in Georgia over the past 2 years, so he comes over there. But I don't think it's we're buddy buddy like that. Lincoln Riley's like, hey man, we used to battle. We used to have great Texas wars and all this other stuff. Recruit high school. So I have a great relationship with Gary Patterson, but I don't know, Gary, you need to do your job because you could lose it. So
the battle you guys must be going through, as offensive coordinator, defense coordinator, you guys are probably getting tired of going against each other here. So, what's that like been having him around?
Well, he and I have had plenty through the years, so we've had our fill. So we decided to join forces, which has been awesome. I think where you
join forces like Kevin Durant and the Warriors, man. Yeah,
really feel, you know,
it's
coach's
given that
influence
energy, I would
is
say.
so many people think a coordinator, right? The first thing you think, oh, what makes a great coordinator? People are going to first start. Most everybody's going to say, oh, well, their scheme, and then calling plays on game day, right? Like that's most people on the outside. That's the first things you think about, and really like being a coordinator. Those things are important, but like you have to be a leader of men, right? You have to be somebody that
You're supposed to be that. As a head coach, you're supposed to be that too. You shouldn't rely on your defensive coordinator and your offensive. And you don't rely on your own because we know you like offense, but you shouldn't rely on those. You shouldn't rely on D'Anton Lynn to get it done for you and to speak to your defense a certain way and to get the most out of your defense. No, you shouldn't be relying on a hype speech in the locker room. That should be you. It coming out of your mouth. You're telling me they're gonna be I get it. They control a room. You're not with the defense all the time. You're with offense or, recruiting, whatever you're doing. But like I'd love for you to just put some effort into your defense, Lincoln Riley. It hasn't shown. The bowl game, it didn't show. Oregon, it didn't show. Michigan, it was there sometimes, but Michigan was a depleted team last year. That's not the Michigan we're gonna see every year. That was a down year for them. So when we got that win, it's like, okay, cool. But that's not every year, Michigan. We got Kyle Whittingham, which Michigan, okay? And you know what happened with Utah. Do we gotta Those are some dark days. Dark days, Caleb Williams. Okay. Caleb Williams, my favorite quarterback of all time. Had some plays in those games that made him my favorite quarterback. I said that's my guy forever. I don't care if he cries to his mom. I don't care if he paints his fingernails. They can start believing him when he starts, balling in the NFL. And look at y'all now, looking crazy. But he'll look good again. And y'all look crazy again. But the pain in nails is crazy. I'm just saying, Lincoln, care about your defense a little bit. You won't lose your job.
Can manage people and control that side. Like it's just that has to happen. And I think you feel that with Coach Patterson's experience. I mean, you just do. You feel like
I get it. He's a former head coach too. So, that's expected out of but I want it to come out of your mouth. I guess you're not built like that a little bit. You have a little Justin Herbert in you. So,
this
yeah.
guy's not just calling plays, right?
Yeah.
This guy's not. It's not just schematic. There's kind of a next step to this and helping us cultivate the mentality that we want defensively, making sure that everybody's on the same page and in the right frame of mind. And that's coaching staff, that's players. I mean, that's everyone. And that's the job of a head coach. That's a job in their own areas of a coordinator. And I think you feel him there as much as anything. And then I think too, I mean, you know, defensively, there's a certain intensity, right, level that's got to hit to play great defense, and and you feel his intensity. I mean, you feel it every single day. You feel it on the practice field. You feel it in the walkthrough, and I think that has certainly carried over to our players.
In both talking to him and his teammates, I've been so impressed with Alex Van Sumeren's leadership.
Yep.
Is that something that you knew in the portal, or is that something that you saw more once he got here?
Like him. The D lineman, I like him. Thumb.
Well, once we got a chance to get to know him a little bit through that process, we felt like that was some qualities that he would bring, and that was something that we were
I'm
targeting.
wrong. I'm wrong for
Honestly,
that.
we knew we had a talented defensive line. We had some young guys and some guys that maybe aren't as experienced or maybe aren't as far along in the leadership world that are going to be really good players, but like you need kind of those glue guys. And with Alex, we felt like we kind of hit both. We felt like we've got a glue guy for the defensive line. We've got an experienced player in this league, and a guy who's also come in and been very impactful on the practice field. And so he ended up being the perfect fit for the D line. I mean, really. I mean, he is. I thought he represented us great at media days.
Yeah.
He was phenomenal. He spoke salute to Troy, and obviously had everybody cranked up. And you kind of feel his intensity just right
he
there.
He seemed like he's been here all 4 years.
No doubt. And
Yeah,
that's
D linemen can do that. They can crank.
they're just a gifted breed, right?
Yeah.
But no, he's brought that the entire way, and there's a seriousness and intensity about this guy that honestly meshes good with some of the other big personalities that we have in the defensive line room, and he leads that group, and it's been very healthy.
All right, let me get you out on some trivia. I'm always making Sean do the trivia, so I'm going to get you a partner here, okay? And Lincoln Riley. This is the Lincoln.
Let's go, y'all. I'm about to beat Lincoln in this trivia. He's not gonna get none of these. I'm about to
Riley era,
whoop him.
Sean. 7 guys have scored 10 or more touchdowns. Now, you should know a passing touchdown doesn't count, right? You got to touch the paint to get a touchdown statistically.
Okay.
7 guys have scored 10 or more touchdowns. How many can we name?
From USC, like last year, like what are we talking about? From college football? I don't know. What's the question?
And Lincoln Riley. This is the Lincoln Riley era, Sean. 7 guys have scored 10 or more touchdowns. Now, you should know.
Okay, I'm gonna go Jordan Addison as my one.
Passing touchdown doesn't count, right? You got to touch the paint to get a touchdown statistically.
Okay.
7 guys have scored 10 or more touchdowns. How many can we?
Jordan Addison. Maybe Brendan Rice. Lincoln probably gonna beat me on this. Yeah, I was talking big game. All right, let's see what he's gonna say.
Name
Austin Jones.
But I feel like that was a hard one right out the gate.
That's what he's starting with.
He
He's
is
going up.
14.
He's
Yes,
working
he's
his way up.
sixth.
How many did he have?
14. He's sixth.
Okay. Taj Washington.
Taj Washington also 14. So I guess they're both tied for fifth.
Yeah. Lemon, Lane.
Lemon and Lane are second and third. Lane
I don't know
18,
why those.
Lemon tied for third.
Oh, my guys, my two guys didn't come up to my head. I don't know why. Then
Dye's not on there.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Remember, passing touchdowns don't count, but,
right, yeah,
but your quarterback can run them in.
Caleb would have for sure done
Caleb is on there. So is
Jaden's
Jaden's got 10. Caleb's got 21. Last one's a tough one. He's a receiver. Had one big touchdown year. He was here for a couple years, but he had one big touchdown year. Sean, you have not helped at all for the record. Coaches
I
carrying
never
all
do
the way.
anything.
Brendan?
Yeah.
one big year.
Yes. Father scored a lot of touchdowns.
Brendan
Rice. Yeah.
Brendan Rice.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, let's get to it. Saturday, noon kickoff. Time to score some more touchdowns. Lincoln
Hey,
Riley.
we came back and got the last one, y'all. But Lincoln Riley, I'm expecting big things. Don't just take it with a grain of salt, y'all. But this was for all fun, all stuff. But everything happened. Everything that matters is on the field. This is talking season, not no more. But we are out of here, y'all. Hopefully, let me know what your thoughts on the video was, what I could change, what I should change. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Do you like it?